Alright, so it's time to talk about black crystal. So a disclaimer, always prioritize to get other crystal as well. Do not just get black, even if you are going for black crystal mission and maxing out the board. Without utility, you will not be able to beat other future content. So do pull to fill up your roster with multiple roles like DPS, support unit, debuffer, paralysis, debuff evasion, just to name a few. Those things you do need it because once in a while we will get some boss that have all those very annoying mechanics, and we need all this utility to bypass it, or basically to counter it. And I include some pool decision based on LDCA. It is totally worth it to just use your ticket just to get an LD so that you can use their calls. And again, this is not my pool plan, it's mostly a recommendation, and it does assume that you're a new player because I will discuss about the banner that we have now, not based on what has been and if you have those characters or not. So for the first banner here we are talking about is Arania and Sephiroth. So jam this banner. Astos is coming tomorrow for Black Crystal. That is one of the best DPS we have, even for several months down, half a year down, even until now in JP. He is still the hardest hitting DPS that we have, but that does not mean that you don't get Arania, even though Arania have a very strong DPS. Because apart from DPS, what Arania brings to the party includes delay and rebreak, so that is a very good utility to have. And Sephiroth, you don't really need it, so it's more like just chase for Arania, jam it. If you get Sephiroth FR, if you want to max it, just go ahead, because Sephiroth does have a very generic FR, but you do need Rydia's Call if you want to easily fulfill all of its condition. If you do not, then you probably will not use it as much. And next here we have is Quistis and Reigns. You must ticket for Reigns LD Call. It's really that good to increase the overall damage of a BT phase, and it has turn manipulation. So when you are chasing for Reigns LD, if you get Quistis FR, then she's not too bad. It's okay, she is a good unit to delay all the enemies, but you already kind of have that delay utility from Arania, right? So if you do not max out Quistis, it is still fine. And especially if you have defeated Area 7, then you can stop pulling and yeah, just get Reigns LD. For Astos, there's just no reason. Even all the other color I recommended the same. You should not and never ever skip Astos, okay? Even if you are a very good player that you hate Astos because you skip all the mechanics, right? It's no longer that fun if you are just using Astos and destroying content without actually experiencing what the enemy does and how you're actually strategizing to win the enemy. So a lot of players, more of veteran players, are planning to skip Astos for that. I would say nah, because in GL sometimes we get some GL exclusive. They can give us a very toxic fight, and if we do not have the resources that we do, then it can become quite a problem. So, and we also have Dare to Defy, so the more utility we have, the more DPS unit we have, it is a good option, right? So for me personally, I will jam Astos. Even I do not need him, I will jam for him, okay? One thing to keep note about Astos is that if you are just starting as a new player and you got Astos, you might not be able to hit the highest damage that he can, because you might be lacking of support unit. So you might be asking, hey, I have 3 characters that are having BT, but why I still cannot hit the maximum damage? Well, because BT doesn't just define how a character is. Some of the characters like Quistis, she have very high stats boost, so she's a very good aura bot. So if you really want to use Astos in most fight and try to capitalize on his damage, you want to optimize his damage, then you need more support unit. You need to invest in more support unit in order to do that. Okay, so one of the first support unit that you have right now in the banner is actually Quistis and Rosa, who is coming probably in a few days time. Here we have Rubicante. It's a special banner featuring both Rubicante and Jack Garland. Gem. Jam for Ruby Kante. For a lot of older fights that you need to clear anyway in order to get your resources, you should jam for Ruby Kante. Okay, he can solo most of this content. Okay, so that would be really useful for you. And even in some of the future fight, Ruby Kante can solo as well. So if you do not have the correct kit against that fight, you can always just bring Ruby Kante solo and you can defeat the enemy. So in this case, I would suggest to jam for Ruby Kante. Don't max Jack Garland this time around because you probably will not use him. And apart from that, Ruby Kante it's not all just about solo, because he is still a good tank. He has very high HP damage mitigation for the entire party, and he have 50% HP damage limit up from both his high armor as well as BT. So he does provide to the party, okay, and make your DPS hit harder. So this makes him quite a versatile character to have, and definitely go for him. Alright, next unit here, Cloud. You can skip Cloud unless you're really in a dire need of a stunner, a character that have paralysis. Then you can pull at least for Cloud's FR, because Cloud FR is actually quite generic. You need to be attacking a paralyzed unit, and since he does inflict paralysis, and also his FR has 50% HP damage limit up. So even if you don't have his BT, it is okay. So this is entirely up to you. For me personally, I will probably skip him. If I'm going for black, I would prioritize some of the other banner that is coming. And that is Rosa. Okay, so Rosa has fast charger. One thing about Black Crystal is they lack a fast charger unit. So you can never do a strategy where you quickly charge your FR and then outcharge the enemy's first time. Like, you don't let them activate it. So if they do not activate it, you don't have to cancel it. So if you don't have to cancel it, then there's a lot of mechanic that you will skip. Okay, so this is a valid strategy, but it only can be done if you have a fast charger and then you use some launch, go inside your summon phase, and then activate your FR before the enemy does. So a fast charger is very important for that. So please pull for Rosa at least for her ticket in order to get access to a fast charger. Now for the next banner, Orin. Yeah, you can jam Orin. He is a very good tank. He can solo as well. So if you have some crystal mission that you do not have much unit to deal with, then Orin can step in. Okay, because you can't be using Ruby Kante in the crystal mission, then you will be going for green crystal instead of black. So Orin has a very similar function. So jam for Orin, and the more tank, the better as well. Dorgan FR, yes, ticket for Dorgan FR due to a crazy combo he can do with Noelle, and he works very well with Arania as well, which is a character that I have recommended you to jam for. So yeah, you don't really need Dorgan's BT, because Dorgan BT just adds stats and win enchant to the entire party. And if you already have another two characters with BT and an Aura bot in the team, most likely you do not need that extra stat from Dorgan. But yeah, HP damage limit up from BT is always a very good thing. So if you have the resource, then you can go for it. If you got lucky and get his BT when you are ticketing his FR, I would green him on the spot. Okay, so he is that good. So for the next banner, Setzer, another black crystal, and he comes in more as a utility character because he doesn't have that stat boost like most Aura bot does. But what does he do is, with his BT, he have a 70% chance to allow a character to hit cap damage. Okay, so that is like Quina, but Quina is 100%, Setzer is 70%. So means out of 10 HP dump, there's a possibility that 3 HP dump will deal 0 damage. I mean, given a situation where the enemy has, let's say, 999% HP damage reduction, right? So everything's supposed to be dealing 0 damage, but with Setzer, you will be dealing cap damage, okay, for 70% chance. So jam Setzer for Jill and Pain. Yeah, you can skip Jill and Pain. And we have Noctis and Lenna. Noctis is black. Noctis is a very good follow-up attacker. So Gem for Noctis and get Lenna's FR. Lenna's FR will make Leviathan fight easier, and this is when they are featured. So Lenna LDCA is also very good for debuff evasion. So while you are chasing for Noctis, just please get the entire kit for Lenna, except her BT, right? If you don't get a BT, it's fine. So that's that. Then we have Golbez and Reno. Yeah, more damage, better, more DPS probably. But we are, yeah. If you really want to and you have the resource, you can gem for Golbez. If you do not, then maybe you can just stick it in. But I think even so, if there is no Dare to Defy, you might not really be using it as much. So if you want to pull in for Dare to Defy, as I mentioned, that having several characters of the multiple role actually is a good thing to do. Yeah, you can pull. I will probably end up pulling for him, even though I have written skip on Golbez. But a Black Crystal, he will probably be quite advantageous in terms of stat boost from the crystal, mission board and everything. And his damage is actually not very weak. Okay, he actually hit very hard. So yeah, can pull for him. And we have Reno and Vincent. I would say skip. If you want to like use Orin a lot for off turn, Reno does make it a little bit better, because when he uses HP plus, your team get delayed by 2 turns. So if you have the resource, I would actually say gem, right? If you do not, then it's okay to skip, because it's not going to be like if you don't pull for him, you cannot win content. So if you just want to have that form of often shenanigan, then yes, you can go for him. And because Raijin is also in the banner, and it would be good to pick up Raijin's LDCA as well. For Anacro and Noelle, Dorgan FR, Noelle's FR, these two characters work like a charm, and they do not need a BT. All they need is FR, and both of them combo so well. So just get Noelle's FR is good enough. And here we have Queen and Tifa, skip. Wise and Ram, ticket at least for Wise FR and get his EX, because his EX follow-up doesn't have to, it's not from his BT. So with just that, he is a very good unit to have. Like you can have him as a third party, and every time you attack, he will do a preemptive 3 HP dump attack, which is really good. Okay, Ram FR as well. Even if I don't get her BT, I get her FR, I will max it out at this point. Her FR has turn manipulation, and that is very good to set up your team for FR or BT phase. So do get both of them. And since if you want to get both of them and you have the gem, yeah, you can think about gemming. Okay, else at least ticket for both their kit. Alright, it's becoming quite repetitive because this is the 6th video about pool plans, and there are just some characters that regardless of crystal, you need to get them. And one of them is Edgar, because without Edgar's LD, you cannot and you can never win Shiva Spiritus unless you have Hope's Call, Friend's Call, Irvin's Call, as well as Oren's Call. You probably have Oren and Friend, but you do not have Hope. I do not see Hope in any banner, so in that case, only Edgar can help you to defeat Shiva Spiritus. So do ticket for his LD at least. You need at least his LD. For Kelger and Makina, you can skip Kelger. You already have Rubicante. Okay, unless you just love to do solo and you want to solo every single content, then yes, you can pull for Kelger. But personally, I pulled for Kelger in JP, and I haven't really been using him much because I went for blue crystal, then I went from yellow crystal. So my team is always made up of blue and yellow. So very unlikely that I actually bring Kelger in. So for Deuce and Vivi, ticket for Deuce FR just for the fast charging, right? Don't skip on that. And for Fusoya and Kirin, jam Kirin and get Fusoya's kit while you're doing that. So Kirin is one of the support, one of the very little support character that Black Crystal have. So to me, he is vital. A lot of people that went Black Crystal, they have Quina, so they kind of ignore the need of an Aura bot. But you do not have Quina at this point. You only have Setzer. So how well Setzer is still something to be proven, because everyone is just showing video regarding Quina. There's very little use of Setzer. And now Black Crystal have Kieran, who is a support Aura bot unit, so definitely pull for him, okay? Although he don't have fast charging, but still you can pull for him. So gem. And here lastly we have Strago and Locke skip, Celtis and Twin skip. Here is a problem. When FE50 comes to JP and eventually in GL, several units get FE50 and a lot of them are Aura bots like Rosa, like Aerith. Then we have Lenna and Rin here and Celtius, but there is no black crystals. Okay, so you might have a problem with that. But again, if you have Astos, he fulfill all your DPS needs. Even until this point, he is still that strong. So like you can bring Astos, Kieran, and maybe Setzer, right? So that will be a pretty strong team, even though all of them are not FE50. But looking into the roster now, it seems that black can be quite a difficult crystal color to play with starting at this point, because of how little there is for black crystals and also the utility and support that they are lacking. So anyway, if you really like it and black is your favorite, then you can still go for it, okay? Anyway, good luck with your pulls, and thank you for watching video. This is the last of this series, and I will be doing next is top support unit to maximize Astos damage. So I hope you are looking forward to that, and good luck with your pull tomorrow for Astos.